Hey guys, the CUBIST MTG here with you, and we are taking a look at our Pauper Cube. Today we're going to go over the red cards that I've selected for the Pauper Cube. For those of you who don't know, Pauper Cube is a cube that is usually pretty cheap, so I ended up spending probably about $50 on the cards for mine off TCG Player. What you do is you only can do cards that have ever been printed in common. So I started this cube just for some people. It's kind of the polar opposite of my powered vintage cube that I use. That is mostly proxies. It has very expensive cards in it. So this is kind of the polar opposite of that. So we're going to check it out. Start off with what we are playing for with red here. So we got Stormfleet Pyromancer. Just kind of like a little bit of a creature body with some burn. One of the archetypes I'm really going for in my red is just, red deck wins is always so popular, so I want to make sure there's very good value with some direct damage, some good removal kind of thing. We got Lightning Bolt, which is the best removal. That's, a must-have. Searing Blaze, which is in a lot of the Legacy red deck wins. Common Iguana, this is an unhinged card. It is just a good card. When it enters, you can discard a card, and then if you do, you draw. It's got a good body on it. We don't have any of the big cards that go on here, so this is just in there just because it's a good card. Arc Lightning, which is just split up between 3 characters, 3 damage, pretty good. Burning Tree Vandal, when he attacks, you can discard a card and draw. It lets you get through your lands pretty quickly. Again, just good value is what we're looking for with red. A 2/3, and whenever it attacks, it gets 2 mana. Brazen Wolves, pretty good. The Gear Crafter here, when he enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 colorless token with flying. Another thing with red is you want to make sure you have good either removal or some blockers, because there's a lot of flying in this cube as well. We have Goblin Freerunner with Surge. Just makes it so you can get this out on turn 2. A 3/2 on turn 2 is very good if you've cast a spell. So if you have something that costs 0 mana or a little bit of ramp, you'll be good there. I like this card a lot. I think it packs get filled with these random commons that this card would never see play in any kind of organized anything. But I really like it. For 1 mana, you get 2 damage, so it's not quite as good as Lightning Bolt. But if you have a board full of dudes and you can do an overload, you're getting a lot of value for that. I like Burst Lightning, very flexible, just 2 damage, or you can kick it. I like these. This is kind of like a little bit of an archetype as mana that you can you spend it and then you can split amongst a lot of different characters. It's good to help take up any kind of like little guys, or make sure that no damage is wasted, I guess would be what I like there. Haste is also another red kind of thing. I think this kind of gets back and touches the roots of red in Magic the Gathering. It's always been about direct damage and haste and just good aggro, and I think that this card again this is a trash card. A lot of people probably thrown many of these out, but in this cube it has a chance to shine. Flunkies, they are just 3/3s for 2. Very, very, very good value. Mog, which is a 1/1 for 1, and you can sacrifice it to deal 1 damage. Lash Out, I remember playing this in Standard. It actually was pretty good, but an instant speed, 3 damage, and then you can Clash, which is kind of cool, which is a forgotten mechanic, but you just look at the top 2 cards and compare converted mana costs. Another Haster, but making things can't block. I think that's also a really cool old school red thing. Thunderous Wrath, again, a very expensive card, but if you can cast it for its miracle, you just get 5 damage for 1, which is insane value. And then here's a couple of cards that I like to put in. Just they make goblin tokens, which I think is a cool little way, again, to swarm the board. So we got just the dude that makes 1/1, create 3 1/1s for 3. Dash, which is kind of a cool mechanic. I've never played with it, but it seems fun to me. You can just give it haste and then return it. I think I like that mechanic. That's why I threw it in there. Attacking creatures get 2/0. This is essentially the same as that other one. The landfall creatures, not quite as good because we're not running the sack lands or anything like that, but there are a couple of, search for a basic land. But this is still just good enough. First strike 1/1 is already good. but if you landfall, you get 3, so that's good. Again with the haste, but this time we got some damage. Just an overall good card. We get some more 1/1s here, nothing too crazy. Another 1/1. Haste when target creature can't block. I think that's a very good combo. Some graveyard flashback action with some damage, and then once it's in the graveyard, you can hit it again. Again, nothing too crazy here. 2/1 haster. Another discard, draw a card. I guess that is also a thing if you can get some good flashback, or mix this in. I mean, discarding a card and drawing a card is just good in any kind of deck, even aggro. So you could play this in red black, you could play this in red blue, anything like that. Fire Slinger, just a 1 damage, and you take 1 damage yourself. Not quite as good as that hasty we saw before, but I think for 2 mana this can go a long way in an aggro deck. A 3/1 for 3, but then it throws a damage when it dies. You can pay mana to make things target creatures can't block, so I think this is really cool. You can see a little bit of the goblin synergy here. Vanishing, and when it enters or leaves, it deals a damage, and you get a 3/3 for 2. This card is very sweet, and I love Time Spiral, so it had to go in. Haste, when he enters, he gets 2/2, so you get a 4/2 for 3. Again, very good mana. A couple 1/1s for 4 with a little with a 2/2, not bad. Morph, which is weird. I'm trying this out. There's not a lot of morph in here, but I thought I'd give it a try just because it's cool, because when it flips, it deals 2 damage, but you also get a 2/2. This would probably be one of the ones that might get cut if it doesn't perform well. When he enters, deals 2 damage, and you still get a 2/1, not bad. Comes into play, gives target creature 2/2 and haste, and then you can also evoke it, so you can give something 2/2 and haste just for 1 mana, which is good. Menace, which is just messing around with blockers. A lot of people will rely on like big walls or something like that, and this is a way to get around that. And then you can also sacrifice him to draw a card. Tokens here, 2/3 red Minotaurs, not bad for 5 mana. When he enters the battlefield, you can discard a card and then draw a card. Again, nothing too crazy, but keeping with that synergy. 5/4 haster. Again, this will probably get thrown out 8 times out of 10 when you open packs, but a good card nonetheless. Magma Jet, deal 2 damage, and then you can scry. Just good value. Spectacle, 3 damage. Again, this is like another Firebolt or something like that. Spark Spitter, discard a card, create a 3/1 with Trample and Haste, and I like that. I think this is a good, it just gives you something every single turn. It's basically like a Planeswalker that you have to pay for mana, and you get a boy. Rift Bolt, again, this is just a cool Time Spiral card. You can suspend it, then it comes into play and deals 3 damage. 1 mana, 3 damage is like the backbone of red, so I had to get as many of those as I can in here. A hasty for 1, which is good, and then you can sacrifice him and deal 1 damage, which is fine. 2 damage to target creature or player, but then you have rebound, so you can cast it again the next turn. It's really fun. Forked Bolt, 2 damage divided. Again, I think this is really cool, being able to make sure that no damage is wasted. Jackal Pup, just a 2/1 for 1, and you take some damage, not a big deal. Krenko's Command, which is some goblins, which is fine. Menace with a 2/1, great. And then giving something 3/0, this is essentially a lightning bolt. And that is red. So yeah, we got a nice little red base here. Again, nothing too crazy. I think that a lot of the times in cubes you get like planeswalkers and combo cards and Kiki Jiki and stuff like that with red, and in this case we're kind of straying away from that and giving a good aggro backbone, because this can very easily combine with black or green, or just having some kind of damage to help even out anything. And I think that's exactly what a red Pauper should be like. So that's what we got here, guys. I hope you're enjoying the little series where we take out this cube. The next one will probably be the green cards. And I can't wait to get through all of these videos so we can start, practicing with the Pauper cube. But thanks for tuning in, guys. We will catch you next time.